What's going on, NFL fans? We are live here on YouTube and we are live on Rumble. And what you're going to be seeing here on today's show is going to be a fun and interactive conversation where we're going to be discussing the latest NFL news and rumors. We're going to be looking at some free agency predictions. ESPN, they just went ahead and released a mock draft. We're going to be breaking all of that down. So a major shout out to everyone who is already over here watching. Remember, we got 2 mailbags on tap as well. So use hashtag NFL or you can super chat to skip the line. Now, we are live here on YouTube, but the segment that we're going to be doing on Rumble and Rumble exclusively is going to be around these 4 free agents right here. And I'm going to tell y'all where the Honey Badger, where Bobby Wagner, where Stephon Gilmore, and where Odell Beckham Jr. are going to end up signing. And if you guys want to watch that video at the end of today's show, then go ahead and give us a follow over on Rumble, rumble.com/NFL Daily. In terms of the 4 players that you see up on screen, which one are you the most interested in? Out of all the players there, is it TM for Tyrann Mathieu? What about Stephon Gilmore? Go ahead and type SG. Bobby Wagner, go ahead and type BW, or Odell Beckham Jr., I want you to go ahead and type OBJ. For me personally, I have just been glued to the whole Honey Badger situation, but I'm also a fantasy football guy at heart. I love watching these new receivers, and I am very curious to see where OBJ ends up going. Will, in the community, if you could throw the Rumble link down there in the chat, that way the people know where to go, that would be great. Remember, it's rumble.com/NFL Daily. All right, I always love looking at the AFC, looking at the NFC, and, you know, when the season starts, we talk a lot about power rankings. We talk a lot about playoffs, and, you know, I'm curious to see what ends up happening this season. In terms of who's the best team in the AFC, there's a lot of teams out there. Personally, I think the top 10 teams in the National Football League, you can make a real argument for, or could all be in the AFC. So I look at teams, you know, like the Kansas City Chiefs. I think like the Denver Broncos, the Chargers, the Raiders, I think, deserves to be in a conversation. The Browns with the Deshaun Watson trade. The Ravens are a hell of a team still. Like, there's a lot of different areas. And then, yeah, probably the Buffalo Bills. So from top to bottom, you could go a lot of different directions in terms of who is the best team in the AFC. We got some questions or some comments. Juan Hernandez says Raiders. Hector Gaming, Raiders. I think you guys are just Raider fans. Cujo says he's more interested in the Honey Badger. Southside Chris 716 going to go with the Buffalo Bills. Got one coming in from the Honey Badger from Bam and Matthew Alexander. What's up, my guy? Honey Badger as well. Now, I know this is NFL Daily. However, I love sports and I love the excitement that is around college basketball. So personally, I want to know who you got. Type Nova for Villanova, UNC for North Carolina, KU for Kansas, or you can go ahead and type Duke if you think that Coach K is going to come away with a title. So let me know down in the comments. We'll go ahead and give some shout-outs here. And then we will be breaking down some more stuff to Nova, UNC, KU, or Duke. Let me know who you got. We're going to give some shout-outs here. We got King Higgins is KU. Jeff, look at the Slack I sent you. Ang says UNC. Hector Gaming says KU. Just relay the message. We got Breezy, Duke versus UNC in the championship. I actually don't think that's even possible. So we have Nova. Who else we got? KU from Captain Rex, Alexander Ponder. Breezy again says Duke. Jim Morris, Duke for Coach K. Ang's going to go with UNC. Now, what about this? We talked about the AFC. Who do you think's the best team in the NFC? Because this is where I think most people are going to say the Los Angeles Rams. But are you still going to say that when you know that they're not going to have Von Miller back? Their only receiver in terms of that I would say is reliable at this current moment is Cooper Kupp, because you traded away Robert Woods. A lot of people are going to go ahead and type the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They get Tom Brady back. They're probably the most complete team in the NFC. But, you know, there's a lot more conversation in the AFC, which I thought was pretty interesting. So Rams from Doopy Guy, Bucks from Mariners fan, Tampa from Native, Packers from James. Okay. See, here's the thing. I don't know what to expect out of Green Bay, right? I mean, I get they have Aaron Rodgers, the two-time NFL MVP, but if you couldn't win with Rodgers, Devontae, I don't think that team has gotten better this offseason. The Bucks, Michael Williams says the Cowboys. I don't see how the Cowboys got better whatsoever this season. I definitely think that they've taken a step back. Marano Brawl says the Minnesota Vikings. So I got two shows for you all today. Not only do I have NFL news and rumors, we got a mock draft and free agency predictions. We always like to know what you guys are thinking. I like to know what kind of videos you want to see here on Chat Sports. I mean, after all, we are literally Chat Sports. This is what we do here. So would you be more interested to see a mock draft from ESPN, which I'll go ahead and react to, type MD, or free agency predictions? I want you to go ahead and type FA. So MD for the mock draft segment, free agency predictions, type FA. I got Anif is going to go mock draft, James mock draft, free agency from XM Mocha. MD says Elio. We have another one says both from Mark. Well, Mark, you will be able to see both, but only if you're also over on Rumble. Mariners fan, mock draft, Sports Hulk, Mariner, what is that? Mock draft, sorry, Hector Gaming, free agency predictions, King Higgins, mock draft. So let me know what you guys are thinking about. We got 245 people watching. If you haven't liked the video yet, please go ahead and do so. So coming up here on NFL Daily Live, this is what we're going to be doing. We got some NFL news and rumors. We're going to be talking about Baker Mayfield, DK Metcalf, Cam Newton is a name to keep in mind, Bobby Wagner. 2 mailbags as always, so you can use hashtag NFL or you can super chat. An ESPN mock draft reaction. Mike Tannenbaum, former GM in the NFL, went through and he looked at all 32 picks, made his own selections, and then at the very end of today's show, I'm going to be doing a free agency predictions video around the Honey Badger, around Stephon Gilmore, OBJ, and Bobby Wagner. However, that will be on Rumble only. So we're going to try this again. Get the Rumble link down in the chat. That way people can go ahead and click on it. If you want to watch the free agency prediction show, that will be on Rumble and Rumble only, which is at rumble.com/NFL Daily. Once I get the thumbs up from Jeff, we're good to get into today's show. News and rumors coming up right now here on NFL Daily. You're watching NFL Daily. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, and we're going to be breaking down the latest going on around Cam Newton, around Baker Mayfield, DK Metcalf, and we're going to be talking about Bobby Wagner as well. One of the biggest names circulating out there is, of course, the quarterback of the Browns, and I'm not talking about Deshaun Watson. I'm still talking about Baker Mayfield because as it stands right now, he is on the team and would probably be the backup, right? Not probably, would definitely be the backup. Baker's trade market has been poor, which I'm not really too surprised about. And I definitely think Cleveland shot themselves in the foot by making the deal for Watson because now if I'm an NFL team, there's no chance in hell I'm going to go out and trade for Baker Mayfield because not only do I have to go out and trade for him, you're going to have to pay him nearly $19 million. So there was a report that came out today that the Browns were looking for a second-round pick for Baker. Yeah, not going to happen. Also in an article by ESPN, somebody said, and this was, again, a report in an ESPN article, some teams didn't even view Mayfield as a first-round pick in 2018, which personally, I'm going to call BS on that because I know a lot of people liked Mayfield. It's just some of these NFL GMs are saying, oh, he wasn't good? Yeah, I knew that. Sorry, I don't believe you. This is what Jake Trotter had to say on trading Mayfield today. Trading Mayfield, however, has proved to be problematic. Mayfield, who will be coming off left shoulder surgery, is guaranteed his full base salary of $18.858 million in 2022 because the Browns exercised the fifth-year option of the 2018 number 1 overall draft pick last season. If the Browns are unable to work out a trade, however, they might have to negotiate a release with Mayfield, similar to what they did with wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. last season. Mayfield would then be free to sign with a team of his choosing at much lower salary. So how about this, y'all? Go ahead and take a guess. And again, I always think there's that old saying, bad franchises stay bad, and we'll see what ends up happening here with the whole Deshaun Watson move. But the way that they've handled the Baker Mayfield situation, I definitely think has not looked good on their part. But look into your crystal ball. Let me know, where will Baker Mayfield play in 2022? When I think about the top teams that could go out and make a move for him, it's hard to think of, okay, which teams go ahead and make a trade. Because I don't really know if there is going to be a team that wants to pay Baker $18.8 million to be the starting quarterback of his team. I don't know if he's going to be the starter on that team. I do think that what you're going to see is a situation very similar to Odell Beckham Jr., where nobody goes ahead and they trade for him. He gets released, and then he ends up on a team like the Detroit Lions, maybe the Carolina Panthers, Atlanta Falcons, Seattle Seahawks, or the Houston Texans. Now, if Mayfield is released or if he's traded, we will keep you up to date here at Chat Sports. So, I got to make sure you do two things here. First, make sure you click that subscribe button. That way you don't miss a thing. And make sure you turn on those notifications. There's a reason we are this close, 90 subs away from 286,000, because we're dedicated to our craft. Also, people who I know are dedicated, people who are part of the Noti gang. So we put out a video on March 30th. The first 5 people that commented on that very first video that went out on this date, shout out to Ghost, All Avina, Howard, Jason, Bill Nye, not the science guy, and then Bob Hewitt Jr. If you want to see your name on a future show, go ahead, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and try to be one of the very first people to comment. Adam Schefter, he had this to say on March 29th in regards to Cam Newton. I get it. Cam Newton is probably not what he used to be. Cam Newton is not Superman anymore. He's not the 2015 NFL MVP, but he is a household name. My mom knows who Cam Newton is, so that's why we're talking about him here on today's show. This is what Schefter had to say. Free agent quarterback Cam Newton is drawing interest, but also is remaining patient. I have teams that are interested in signing me, Newton texted. I am waiting on the best fit as it pertains to winning a championship and getting a fair chance to play. Now, I don't 100% believe Cam Newton when he says this, because if he's reporting to Schefter, a lot of times you see NFL players do this. Oh yeah, a bunch of teams are interested in me. Are they? Are you just trying to get that out there because, in fact, nobody's interested in going out and getting Cam Newton? But two things that he said in there where it still sounded like to me that Newton at least wants to compete to be a potential starter, and he also wants to compete for a Super Bowl. Here's what I would say to Cam Newton. Pick one. Because if you're going to be the starting quarterback of an NFL team, you're not winning a Super Bowl. If you do want to go ahead and win a Super Bowl, then it's okay. Be the backup, take less money. But if you're trying to live in this make-believe land where you're still going to be competing for a Super Bowl and be a starter in the National Football League, I'm sorry, that world does not exist. And if it does, please tell me, because that's a euphoric state. All right, so who's the better quarterback? We talked about two of them so far today. Baker Mayfield and Cam Newton. Very curious to see where you guys go, and I know a lot of times there's recency bias that can get in the way of these type of conversations. If you think Baker Mayfield is the better quarterback, I want you to go ahead and type 6. If you think Cam Newton's a better quarterback, type 1. I rip on Baker all the time. However, it is Baker Mayfield to me, and I don't even really think it's all that close. Now, I don't know about y'all, I'm always trying to get brand new NFL gear, and we got a whole bunch of new NFL jerseys. Why? Dude, this offseason has been one hell of an offseason. So if you see a favorite jersey of yours that I'm showing over here, whether it's Russell Wilson's Bronco jersey, whether it's the Tyreek Hill jersey in Miami, Devontae Adams to the Raiders, or Deshaun Watson in a Browns jersey, plus this link that you see below, chatsports.com/NFL jersey, has hundreds, and I mean hundreds of jerseys available, not just the ones I showed you. My point was more of all the new jerseys of all these players that just got traded or have signed with new teams. They're also going to be there available. It's chatsports.com/NFL jersey. That link is going to be available for y'all in the comments and in the description of today's video. I love trade rumors, and this offseason has inspired me in terms of anything is possible on any given day, right? I don't want to hear, oh, that player's never getting traded. I know we talked about Russell Wilson trades before, and a lot of Seahawks told me, go shove it. Well, how about this? More rumors here around DK Metcalf, and there's been rumors that the Seahawks are listening to trades, and they could decide to trade away DK. And if he is ended up traded, I think he ends up getting a new contract. The fact that they already moved away from Russell Wilson, if I was part of Metcalf's camp, I'd be like, well, Seahawks, I don't think are trying to win right now. I don't want to try to catch the ball from Drew Lock. And if there's a team out there that's willing to trade for me and give me the contract that I'm looking for, I would absolutely do it. Because let's be real here, DK Metcalf coming off the last 3 seasons that he's had, I don't see him putting up over 900 yards. I don't see him putting over 10 touchdowns. And if you're trying to get a new contract, if you're trying to prove to teams down the line that you're worth these top dollars, you might want to go ahead and make the move right now. And if you're Seattle and you know that you don't plan on giving DK a fat contract, keeping him around there for a long time, trade DK right now for a first-round pick and really fully embrace and go into that rebuild. When I think about some potential destinations for DK, these are the top 5 teams that jump out to me. If he's trying to go to a contender that needs a receiver, I do think the Green Bay Packers make a lot of sense. The Chiefs make sense, though. I don't understand their logic of, let's trade away Tyreek Hill to get DK Metcalf. Not that I don't think DK is a hell of a player, but Tyreek fit that offense and really help Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy be what they truly, truly were. The Washington Commanders have been almost all in. The New York Jets, they love athletes. DK's a hell of an athlete. And then the Philadelphia Eagles are another sneaky name to keep in mind. So how about this, y'all? Where will DK end up playing this season? If you think he's going to be on the Seattle Seahawks, go ahead. Type that S down in the comments. If you're like, you know what, Mitch? I think he's going to get dealt. I think he's going to go somewhere else. Cool. Type other, and if you want to be an overachiever, when I go through the YouTube comments after today's live show, I'll see. So if you want to type other, and then you also want to go ahead and type which team you think he's going to go to, please, I would appreciate it. The last player I'm going to talk about was also on the Seattle Seahawks last year, and it's Bobby Wagner. He was released by Seattle this offseason, ends up saving about $16.6 million for Seattle. In terms of what is he looking for, a report today from Peter King said that Wagner is looking for $11 million a year. He's also open to signing a 1-year contract, and he wants to play for a contender. If I was a contender and I saw that report, 1 year, $11 million for Bobby Wagner, sure, I do think linebacker is one of the easier positions to be able to replace in the National Football League. I look at linebacker the same way I look at running back in terms of the offense. But Wagner last season, you can make the argument as a top 5 linebacker still. Had 170 tackles. He's been in the league for 10 years. He's an all-pro 8 of those years. If I'm a team and I'm like, not that anybody really truly needs a linebacker, but if you can add him, be a captain on and off the field, I think it'd be crazy not to at least consider it. So what do y'all think? Where will Bobby Wagner end up signing in free agency? I could see him being patient. I could see him waiting a little bit because a lot of times when you're a player like Wagner, the Honey Badger, even Stephon Gilmore, you know your value. You know that every NFL team realistically has a sliver of hope or sort of wants you at least a little bit. So maybe you decide to wait until after the draft. You wait until after the draft, somebody didn't get the linebacker that they wanted, and then your asking price can go up a little bit. That's what I think Bobby Wagner ends up doing. But let me know what y'all are thinking. Where will Bobby Wagner end up signing this offseason? All right, y'all, let's go ahead and give some shout-outs here. We got 500 of y'all watching, and I want to appreciate you. In terms of, Lo says, why y'all go live? What happened? We go live every single Monday and Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. That's why you got to hit that sub button. But I'm guessing you're a new watcher, so hey, shout out to you. I got a Rams coming in here from Julian, another Rams from John, Pats from Robert Bruce. Hector Gaming says the Raiders. Haven Jackson's going to go with the Rams. Robert Bruce says Pats. Lion from Hector. Pats from Robert. Dolphins from Light Gaming. Patriots, Raiders, Patriots. Keep on getting those votes in. Mr. Death says Packers. Packers would be a surprising move. Wagner, the Chiefs? No, that one don't make any sense. Not that Wagner couldn't help out that team, but the Chiefs have 2 very good young linebackers. Chargers from Cujo. You got Philly from Chill Will. Patriots from Elio. Seahawks. I don't think that one's going to happen. Falcons, maybe? Don't think that one makes sense either because I think the best thing that Atlanta can do is realize that they're arguably the worst team in the NFL right now and accept it and then be like, all right, we're going to go into a full rebuild now that we moved on from Matt Ryan. Now, we will be getting into a mailbag, and I'm also going to be giving my prediction of where I think Bobby Wagner is going to end up signing. And if you want to watch that video, you're going to be able to watch it on Rumble. So after this whole show where we go through a mailbag, I go through our ESPN mock draft, going to do another mailbag, then the live show here on YouTube is going to end, and I'm going to be on Rumble and Rumble only. However, I am also live on Rumble right now, so if you're like, well, do I really just want to switch halfway through the show? If you just want to go to Rumble right now, that way you're on the platform, you don't have to go anywhere. That's honestly probably the easiest thing that you can do. So go ahead right now, give us a follow on Rumble, rumble.com/NFL Daily. This is a really awesome partnership that we've been able to create here. Why? Because our job is to be able to give you guys more content, and that's exactly what Rumble is going to do. So Will, please throw that comment or that link down there. There we go. That link down there in the comment section. Click that bad boy. Give us a follow, and you can follow and watch us on NFL Daily on Rumble. Where? Rumble.com/NFL Daily. All right, y'all, so it's mailbag time here, which means I'm going to be going ahead and answering y'all's questions for the next 12 to 15 minutes or so, depending on how many questions we end up getting in. Mark, I see your super chat. We'll get to it as well. If you guys want to wait in the line, which is 512 people, you can use hashtag NFL. Get your question in there, and then what happens is producer Jeff, he puts those questions up on screen. If you're like, no, man, I want my question to be answered right now, then all you got to do is go ahead and super chat. Also, got some news here that Patrick Peterson is going to be returning to the Minnesota Vikings. So, kind of interesting. Patrick Peterson returning to the Minnesota Vikings on I believe it's a one-year deal. Yes, one-year deal. Patrick Peterson back to Minnesota. So again, y'all, hashtag NFL or super chat. Get your questions, your comments on the show. I'm going to be answering questions for the next 12 to 15. It's mailbag time here on NFL Daily, and today's show is presented by Manscaped. I know March Madness has been wild. If you want your girl to be wild with you, then go to manscaped.com/chat, 20% off and free shipping on the best male grooming products out there. My lines, my pickup lines, they're not always smooth. Me being real with y'all. But you know what is always smooth? Yeah, you guys can connect the dots. So here on the mailbag, I'm answering y'all's questions. Remember, this show was filmed on Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. The first question coming in here on NFL Daily is a super chat from the Past Master. Mitch, what do you think about the Vikings going corner in round 1, then corner in round 2 as well? Shout out to Anthony B. Great work as always, Chat Sports. Well, the fact that the Minnesota Vikings just went ahead and they re-signed Patrick Peterson, that definitely takes their need at corner and drops it down a little bit. Yes, I still think that they could go out and add another corner because it was a major issue for the team last season. But now I don't think they go round 1 and round 2. If I was Minnesota, I would look to add more of edge rusher help. I still would potentially look at another corner, but maybe you do that in round 2. If somebody like, I don't know, I don't think it happens at this point, Sauce Gardner slides to you at 12, then sure, you absolutely jump all over that. But the Past Master, appreciate the Superman. Let's go to Mark, the other super chat that came in. Do you have a cornerback for Dallas? We got Diggs and use the number 2. A cornerback last year, Lewis and Brown are not all pros, but solid. We got huge holes at guard, defensive tackle, and defensive end. Well, I know Tom Downey was just talking to me in the studio about a mock draft that ended up going down with Derek Stingley Jr. going to Dallas. That would be pretty interesting to me. I think he's a phenomenal talent, though I would be surprised if he fell down to 24. What's going to be interesting with the cornerback market is you got Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to be the new number 1 cornerback taken. I like Trent McDuffie out of Washington. He's a pretty good player, good coverage corner. Derek Stingley Jr. is another name. With Murphy, the cornerback from Clemson, he just had hernia surgery today. Some teams might not be as high on him now. Really curious to see what they decide to do at corner, but we'll see. We'll see if they end up ultimately taking a corner in round 1. Manny Fernandez, you're next up here on NFL Daily. Thoughts on the Vikings drafting Jermaine Johnson at number 12? I think it's kind of funny where Jermaine Johnson, when the whole draft process started, wasn't, I don't even think, near the first round. Then more people started watching him. More of the hype started coming out. More of these draft analysts like, this guy's really good. And now he has a legitimate shot to go in the top 10. Like, I've seen mock drafts that have Jermaine Johnson going in the top 10. Now, Johnson grew up in Minnesota. I know there's a lot of Viking fans that like that. And if you're not 100% sold on Danielle Hunter being healthy, which I don't blame you whatsoever, and you feel like, all right, Jermaine Johnson, good defensive end, helps us create that edge rush help because you got to get after Justin Fields and you got to try to make Aaron Rodgers' life hell. I don't hate the pick, but I also don't think it's the biggest team need for Minnesota. So how about this, y'all? Are the Vikings, are they the best team in the NFC? I'm going to say no, but I want to know from all y'all, who is the best team in the NFC? Because a lot of the big moves that have happened this offseason have gone to the AFC. The AFC is stacked, but I don't want to sit here and not take away from the NFC because you got the Super Bowl champs, then you got the Super Bowl champs from the year before, the Buccaneers with Tom Brady, but then I do think that there is a lot of open for discussion of who's the best team after that. I see people type in Packers, which I understand, but are the Packers better than what they were last season? I don't think so. You lost Devontae Adams. You lost a few other key players. But let me know down in those comments, y'all, who is the best team in the NFC. Alexander M., you're next up here on NFL Daily. Baked 420 Mayfield to be a backup on the Raiders. No. Sorry, man, there's just no way that's going to happen. Like, the Raiders aren't going to trade for Baker, first off. And if you trade for him, then you got to pay him $18.8 million. No NFL team in their right mind would ever pay Baker Mayfield $18.8 million to be a backup quarterback. If he wants to be a backup after they get released or something like that, potentially, but even then, I still see Baker wanting more money. And if I was Mayfield, I would try to go to a team that isn't so heavily invested in their quarterback. And I know people don't want to hear this, like some people. The Raiders are all in on Derek Carr. Let's go to Anifi? I don't know. Anfini? Will Skylar Thompson be a sleeper in day 3? I'm going to say no. I've seen Skylar play a lot. My boss, Brett, big K-State guy. I don't see it, man. Like, there's some quarterbacks who are fun to watch in college. That's Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson was a good college quarterback. Ian Book, good college quarterback. Sam Ehlinger, good college quarterback. The transition to NFL is not going to be kind to him. So, sorry, I don't see him being a sleeper. Not saying that he won't get drafted at all. I just don't think that he is going to end up ever being worth a pick in the NFL draft. Now, remember, y'all, I told you, I'm silky smooth. Why? Because of awesome Manscaped products that we got. And if you want to get your hands on, then you got to go to manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping. The reason why it's called the perfect package is because if you use the Lawnmower 4.0, if you use the ball deodorant, if you use the ball toner, your balls are going to look perfect. Plus, the boxers that come in that case are the most comfortable boxers you have ever worn. I promise you, not only do they feel like you're not wearing anything, they hold everything together, which that's a really important thing the last time that I checked. So free shipping, 20% off. It's manscaped.com/chat. Remember, you need to go to that link. That way they know who sent you. Let's go to Sean, the RC mechanic. Chin up. Could the Falcons draft Kayvon Thibodeaux with the 8th pick and a quarterback in Desmond Ridder the 2nd or the 3rd round? All right, so could the Falcons draft Kayvon Thibodeaux? I don't think he's going to be there at pick 8. I personally think the Giants will take him at either 5th or 7th, and then Desmond Ridder in the 2nd or 3rd round. Again, if Ridder is there in round 2, he could be interesting to me, but Ridder falls into the category, like I just talked about those other quarterbacks. I don't think Desmond Ridder is worth a 2nd or a 1st round pick. I'm going to stay away from him. He looked good in college at times. If he's there in the 3rd round, sure, Atlanta can be more open to it. I would actually think that Ridder has a better chance of being successful than Marcus Mariota does in that offense long term. But I can't sit here and say that I'm excited about Desmond Ridder, man. Let's go to Ronnie Ray. Giants have 2 3rd-round picks. Would it be smart to draft a quarterback like Carson Strong? You know, it's funny. I actually talked about this the other day on my Raiders show where I was like, if I was Carson Strong and somebody told me, what team would you want to go to? My answer would be the New York Giants. Now, obviously, you're not going to go to the Giants at pick 5, pick 7. I don't think Carson ended up taken even in the 2nd round. Maybe there's a team that wants to go ahead and take that risk because of the talent. I think he's got the strongest arm in the draft, and he's got that big body. When Josh Allen came out from Wyoming, big body, big arm, terrible tools. What happened? Brian Dable was able to work with him. If I was Carson Strong, I would like to try to go to the New York Giants. Now, to make sure you guys don't miss anything this offseason, because remember a few months ago, I was telling y'all the offseason gets wild? Yeah, the last 2 weeks have been absolute proof of that. And guess what? We've been going live an insane amount. You guys get at least 2 videos every single day, and we're going to be live every Monday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, just giving you content. That's what the offseason is about. Content, and we're 100% free, so I think it's a hell of a deal. So subscribe and turn on those noties. Let's go to James. What's up, my guy? Do you think that the Saints target a running back in the draft if Kamara's legal issues aren't sorted out? Do I think that the Saints target a running back? Yes. Do I think that Kamara is going to get suspended this season? Yes, I do. And in fact, if I were to bet on it right now, I think there's a more likely chance that Kamara gets suspended for like 6 games, appeals it, ends up dealing with a 4-game suspension, and then New Orleans has to figure a situation out. I can also say, though, with 2 running backs like Latavius Murray and Devonta Freeman both being free agents, you could potentially see them bring in those guys instead of drafting a running back a little bit later on. But I do see the Saints addressing the running back position. Yes. Let's go to, Ogre Stizzle. I was going to say Orgy Styles. Should the Lions draft a quarterback? Yes, they should. I do not believe in Jared Goff. He's just not going to be the guy. But I do not want the Lions to draft a quarterback at pick number 2 overall. Because if you do that, you're essentially throwing him to the Lions. Like, he's just going to be absolutely done for. I think if Detroit was smart, if Aidan Hutchinson is gone at pick 1, which I believe he's going to be gone, you try to trade down from pick 2, because I think there's going to be a team out there that wants to try to trade up for a quarterback. It happens every single season. And with the Lions, the amount of holes that you have on offense and on defense, you trade down, and if you're able to get a quarterback like a Matt Corral at pick number 32, I think that's tremendous value. Evan Hinders, what's up, my dog? Vikings trade 2/3 for Logan Thomas. Why? Logan Thomas is a good tight end. He's good. I'm not going to give up 2 third-round picks for Logan Thomas. Like, does Minnesota need a tight end? Sure they do. But I'm not giving up 2 third-round picks for Logan Thomas. Sorry, homie. It's not going to happen. So out of all the quarterbacks in the AFC North, I want to know who's the best, because we had this debate the other day at Chat Sports, and this was before the Deshaun Watson deal went down, and I actually haven't gone live to have the debate with y'all. But if you had to pick from these 4 quarterbacks, who's the best? Is it Deshaun Watson? Type 4. If it's Lamar Jackson, type 8. Joe Burrow, type 9. Yeah, it's either 4, 9, or 8. You can't trust anybody with the first name of Mitchell. I'm sorry. He shouldn't even be on screen realistically. So who do y'all think is the best quarterback in the AFC North? Let me know down in the comments. Let's go to my guy, Trill Will 609. The Seahawks have been linked to Cam Newton. Does it make sense for Seattle? If I was Cam Newton and I said what I said in terms about wanting to compete for a starting job, I think Seattle's actually one of the better places that you can go ahead and do that. However, I wouldn't want Cam Newton as my starting quarterback. But I do think Seattle and Cam make at least a little bit of sense to come in there and compete with Drew Lock. Maybe they decide to run the football a little bit more, which you're going to be able to do with Cam. More zone option. I do think it makes sense. However, I wouldn't want to be a team that pays Cam Newton anything more than $5 million a year. Andre, what up, brother? Hey, Mitch, do you see the Raiders trading future years' picks for a first or second round pick this year, since this draft is in Vegas and is also the first draft for McDaniels and for Ziegler? I know the rumors that have been out there about the Raiders wanting to try to get back into the second or the first round. Here's the thing, though, man. Like, are you going to give up your first and your second round pick in next year's draft to get into the first this year? Because, like, it's not that easy. Like, you can't be like, all right, hey, I'll give you a 2023 first. That way it can come up into the first round this year. Like, that's just not how it works. I personally see the Raiders being aggressive. I don't know if that means that they're going to try to trade away some of the current players on their team. But I see the more likely scenario is finding 2 or 3 players on the Raiders' current roster that you can move on from. Getting in the first round, don't see that happening. Getting into the second round, though, that one shouldn't be slept on. Now, we get a lot of questions that always come up here on these shows, and I'm sorry I can't get to all of them. But always remember, if you have a question for me, if you want to get to know me on a more personal basis, you can always hit me up on Instagram, slide in those DMs at MitchellRenz365. So let me know who y'all got NCAA March Madness Final Four. I got a few friends coming in from Kansas to watch the Jayhawks play, though it's probably the team that I want to see lose the most. Sorry, Tyler. So let me know who you got. Nova, KU, UNC, or Duke. I want to see a Nova and Duke championship game. I'd be happy with either of those winners, which is probably an unpopular opinion for some people. The only team that I don't want to see win, yeah, it is probably the Jayhawks, which is funny because when the whole March Madness thing started, I've only won the March Madness tournament 2 times in 17 years of my family March Madness bracket thing that we do. And both of those years I took Kansas. So if it happens again, man, I just got to take the Jayhawks every single year. All right, let's go to this next comment from Imagine Gnarly. All right, Imagine Gnarly friend. The Packers traded away Adams. Green Bay also has 2 4th-round picks. Could the Dolphins get a 4th-round pick for Devontae Parker? So essentially, Green Bay gives up a 4th-round pick to Miami for Devontae Parker. If you end up doing that, you're essentially going to have to pay Parker $5.6 million this year, and it's around $5 or $6 million next season as well. If I was the Packers, I would look into this simply because you need an outside receiver, you need an X, and that's what Parker is. Plus the fact that Miami just went ahead and traded for Tyreek Hill. Not that they don't need Devontae. If I was Tua and I was the Dolphins, I would try to keep him. Though Parker's probably going to be the 4th option on that team. He might even be the 5th option in terms of overall targets. So a 4th-round pick for Miami, somebody's going to be your 4th or 5th round, or 5th target, I do think makes sense. I think it makes sense for both sides. This is going to be the last one of the first mailbag. What up, Cujo? Appreciate the super chat. Who should the Chargers sign at right guard and at right tackle? It's a good question. Personally, right tackle is somebody that you can't really go out and get in the draft, so my top right tackle is still available. I think Bobby Massey is a name to keep in mind. David Quessenberry is a name to keep in mind. Billy Turner just signed somewhere, right? Yeah, Billy Turner just signed somewhere. I'm trying to think of some other names off the top of my head. I don't think you're going to be able to convert Dwayne Brown to a right tackle. He's more of just your offensive tackle. And then right guard. Right guard is a sticky situation when it comes to free agency because I think a lot of the better guards out there are on the left side. So maybe that's the position that the Chargers decide, you know what? We're going to go out and try to address that one in the draft. All right, y'all, we got a segment coming up here, and it's around free agency predictions. But before I tell you how to watch it, where will Stephon Gilmore end up signing this offseason? I have been waiting and waiting and waiting. And I thought Gilmore was going to sign 2 weeks ago. I was ready to rock and roll. But he's been patient, and he's weighing out all his options. So maybe he's sitting at home right now. Maybe he's watching this, and he's like, you know what? Oh, okay. I just saw Robert Bruce down there in the comments. Robert, what do you got to say? That's where I'm going to go. Because Joe says the 49ers. Aaron Hudson says the Panthers. Juan Hernandez, Raiders. Hector Gaming, Raiders. F. Whoosh, 312, Raiders. Gilmore to the Jags from Harmon. Interesting. Chiefs from Mano. We got Cujo says Chargers. Boomer Raider says the Raiders. Well, how about this? I'm going to tell you where I think Stephon Gilmore ends up signing, and I'm going to do that over on Rumble. So coming up here, we got an NFL mock draft from ESPN. I'm going to break that down. Then we're going to do another mailbag. Then the live show on YouTube is going to end, and then I'm going to be on Rumble and Rumble only, breaking down the top NFL destinations for some of the top players out there, including Stephon Gilmore. So if you want to watch that show, you can either hop on over to Rumble now by going to the link that you see in the live chat, rumble.com/NFL Daily, or you can watch on YouTube, and then in probably about 30 minutes, then head on over. So if you want to watch that segment, click on that link, NFL Daily, also on Rumble. Click it, Chatsport or rumble.com/NFL Daily. That segment's going to be coming up here in about 25 to 30 minutes from now. It's ESPN NFL mock draft reaction time. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports ready to dive in because I haven't done a mock draft reaction in so long. With all the craziness that's happened in free agency, it has been a minute from me. So Mike Tannenbaum, former general manager in the NFL, he released his first-round projections of this mock. So all I'm going to do is go through all 32 of those picks and give you guys my 2 cents. But 2 cents? No, this show here is for free, so hit that sub button. Let's go here. Look at the first 4 picks. You got the Jags, the Lions, Texans, Jets. With the number 1 pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars go ahead and they select Aidan Hutchinson, defensive end from Michigan. I think this is your locked and loaded, guaranteed number 1 overall pick. At number 2, I love the prospect. I love Sauce Gardner. He is my top corner, and I've been saying that for months. This is a little bit early at number 2. However, if Sauce can live up to the hype, and if Jeffrey Okudah can live up to his hype because they took him at number 3, that could be one of the best young cornerback duos in the league. At 3, it's Kyle Hamilton. I've seen the rumors. He's slow. He ran a 4.71 at Notre Dame. I don't give a shit. This is one of my favorite prospects. He's a baller, and when you're the Houston Texans, you go out and you try to get as good as players as humanly possible. Kyle Hamilton is going to be an all-pro in the NFL. Garrett Wilson off the board at number 4. I know the Jets love athletes, especially at the wide receiver position, and you're trying to build around Zach Wilson. Garrett Wilson, though, to me, is a little bit too much of an athlete and a little bit of a route runner, which at pick 4, it's just too early for me, man. Coming up here at number 5, and a lot of times when I look at these mock drafts, I think the New York Giants win almost every single draft. And here's, again, an absolute slam dunk of a pick. It's Evan Neal, the offensive tackle from Alabama. If you're looking for the most ready right now offensive lineman, or I guess I should say most ready offensive tackle, it's Evan Neal, which is going to be great for the Giants. At pick number 6, quarterback early, it's Kenny Pickett from Pittsburgh. Obviously, Carolina, I don't think they end up bringing back Cam Newton. Sam Darnold's not the answer. But Carolina going another quarterback here, man, it's just, I don't know how I feel about it, y'all. I wish they would have went with an offensive lineman. Coming in here at number 7 for the Giants, it's Kayvon Thibodeaux. So you're telling me the New York Giants, they go Evan Neal. You get Thibodeaux, who you can make the argument is the best overall athlete in this year's draft. Heck, I've seen some people say that he should be the number 1 overall pick. The Giants, man, if they're able to come away with this, that's a steal. Pick number 8 here off the board, the Atlanta Falcons are going to go with wide receiver from USC, Drake London. Originally, he was listed at 6'5" at USC. I'm not going to lie, I've given myself an extra 2 inches as well. At the combine, he comes in at 6'3". He's still an athletic freak. He had the ankle injury, but if you're looking for somebody who can be that Julio Jones replacement, Drake London and Kyle Pitts, good luck, defensive coordinators. You just got to find someone to throw it to him, right? So how about this, y'all? This mock doesn't have any trades in it. And personally, I like mock drafts with trades. They make it a little bit fun. They get interesting because every year there's trades, right? I mean, it happens every year. So how many trades end up happening in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft? Let me know down in the comments. At pick number 9 here in this ESPN mock draft reaction, the Seattle Seahawks are going to go with Ickey Ekwonu, better known as Ickey, the offensive tackle from North Carolina State. This guy is fun. He is just nasty, and I love nasty offensive linemen, which is something that Seattle desperately needs. Too bad he's not blocking for Russell, though. Pick number 10 is Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher from Florida State. Another very good athlete. I think Tannenbaum hits it on the head here with the Jets going after good athletes. Pick number 11 here for the Washington Commanders is personally my favorite wide receiver in this year's class. It's Chris Olave. Not that I think Olave is ever going to be that true number 1, but he's going to be a hell of a 1B. And if you put Chris Olave next to my comp for him, which is Terry McLaurin, I like that offensive structure a lot, and plus, you get back Curtis Samuel. Pick number 12 here, it's Travon Walker, the defensive end out of Georgia. I've heard a lot of good scouting reports on him. I've also seen some mixed messages. If Danielle Hunter is healthy, him and Walker, they're going to wreak havoc. However, I don't have a lot of confidence in Hunter, which is why I think Minnesota ended up going this route. Plus, I also thought corner was a bigger need for them. But they also did just go out and sign Patrick Peterson. If y'all are looking for new NFL jerseys, hey man, Russell Wilson, that trade really helped out get a whole bunch of new mock drafts out there. And if you want a brand new NFL jersey, maybe it's Russell Wilson's Denver. What about Tyreek Hill's Miami Dolphins jersey? Devontae Adams Raiders jersey? Go to chatsports.com/NFL jersey. If you're a Browns fan, you've probably never bought a quarterback jersey around the Browns before, right? You can also get it to Deshaun Watson. Hopefully he's y'all's QB for a very, very long time. So it's chatsports.com/NFL jersey. That link is going to be available for you on the live chat and in the comment section of today's video. Pick number 13 here, the Houston Texans via that Deshaun Watson trade. They're going to go ahead and get Charles Cross, the offensive tackle from Mississippi State. I look at Charles Cross and I see Laramie Tunsil. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't think there's going to be a gas mask involved. But Charles Cross at 13 is a good pick, and I think this one ends up happening if you see the Texans potentially move on from Tunsil. At pick 14, it's Tyler Linderbaum. Early in the show, I stumbled over my words saying that I think Evan Neal is the most ready-to-play offensive lineman in the draft. I actually think Tyler Linderbaum is the most ready offensive lineman in the draft. The issue is this. He plays center, and that usually means that you're going to fall down a little bit. If Linderbaum, who's the best run blocker I've seen at center in a very long time, can go to a run-first offense like Baltimore, that's a slam dunk pick. The Philadelphia Eagles, they got 3 first-round picks, 15, 16, and 19. At pick number 15, they go Devin Lloyd, my number 1 rated linebacker. His ability to go sideline to sideline, come up, stop the run, he can do it all for Philly. At 16, it's Kenyon Green. I like Green's versatility, but this is a reach here. This is a pick that I do not like personally. I think he's a good prospect. He did not have a good combine, though no player from Texas A&M had a good combine. Green is a good offensive lineman that can play guard. Some people think he can play tackle. He's going to end up being a guard in the National Football League. I just think it's a little bit of a reach. Good player, but I'm not going to take him in round 1. At least not a pick 16 with some of the other players on the board. Now, if you guys love the NFL draft, I want you to subscribe because here at Chat Sports, we're going to be the most watched NFL draft coverage, and I take a lot of pride in saying that. I don't know if how much I'm going to be live over here on NFL Daily, but I know my guy Tom Downey, I mean, he's about as excited as you could possibly get for the NFL draft. I don't know how many times he puts a hole through his desk during the draft, but that's how excited he gets. So if you want the best coverage here around the draft, hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, and I want to give a major shout out to the people who I know have their notifications on. If you want to see your name and your avatar on a future show, then you got to be one of the very first people to comment. So shout out to Jonathan Newman, Michael, Elijah Brady. Tell Tom I said what's up. Floyd Donnelly, and then Tyler Smith. Appreciate y'all for being a part of that Noti gang. All right, let's keep this mock draft going. Second half of it. Chargers, Saints, Eagles, Steelers. Y'all are on the clock. And the Chargers are going to go with Nakobe Dean, the linebacker out of Georgia. Sure, definitely a little bit undersized, but his athletic ability, the Chargers are going to need a lot in that division. The Saints here, they get a really good player, the top right tackle. It's Trevor Penning. He's mean. He's just a nasty, nasty dude, and I think he's going to be a really good player in the National Football League. Trent McDuffie at number 19 of the Philadelphia Eagles. I was hoping for a little bit more out of him from the combine. I loved what I saw on tape. Really good coverage corner. But him and Kyler Gordon, man, their combines were bad, y'all. At pick number 20, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they get Malik Willis, and I'm kind of surprised that Willis fell this far. I don't see Willis falling. If you were to tell me, Mitch, a quarterback goes in the top 6, who is it? I don't think it's Kenny Pickett. I think it's Malik Willis. So the fact that he fell all the way here to 20 in this mock is a really good value here for Pittsburgh. The New England Patriots are on the clock, and at pick number 21, they're going to go with Andrew Booth Jr., the cornerback out of Clemson. Now remember, while I'm filming this, it is Wednesday, and news just came out that Andrew Booth is having hernia surgery. All the people expect him to be ready to go for the regular season for training camp. So I don't know how much this impacts you, but I love Andrew Booth, and I think he'd be a hell of a fit there in New England, trying to replace J.C. Jackson. The Green Bay Packers, they traded away Devontae Adams to the Las Vegas Raiders, so now they're going to go ahead and take Jahan Dotson. I think Jahan Dotson's explosiveness, his route-running ability is something that I've always loved from him from Penn State. Undersized, I think Dotson's best situation would be if he could fall to Kansas City and try to take over that Tyreek Hill role, but Green Bay's got a hell of a wide receiver here. 23, the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to go David Ojabo. Now, Ojabo tore his Achilles at Michigan Pro Day, and I've seen some people say he might not go in round 1. If you're a team that believes, you know what, we don't need a player right away, then maybe you go ahead and make this move here. However, Arizona's going to try to replace, or you got to try to replace Chandler Jones in some way. You're not going to have Ojabo for the entire first year. I personally wouldn't take Ojabo in round 1. The Dallas Cowboys are on the board here. They're going to go Derek Stingley Jr., the cornerback out of LSU. His 2019 tape, if that's what you get here, you can make the argument he's the best cornerback in the draft. A little bit inconsistent play. The health hasn't 100% been there. But Derek Stingley, I love what I see out of him sometimes, and I think at 24, this is tremendous value. So the next 3 years of the NFL draft, you got Las Vegas in 2022, Kansas City in 2023, Detroit in 2024. If you could choose, which city would you want to go to? If you're like, all right, man, I can only go to one draft city, what would it be? Would you go to Las Vegas? Type LV. Would you go to Kansas City? Type KC. Would you go to Detroit? I want you to go ahead and type DET. Personally, I think if your answer is not Las Vegas, you're crazy. And if you want more content here around the NFL, you can also go check us out on Locals, locals.com. But if you want more Raiders content from me over on Locals, you can do that where? At RaidersReport.locals.com. So if you're interested in getting more Raiders-specific content, and I see all those LVs, go to RaidersReport.locals.com. I am going to be live on Thursday, so depending on when you're watching this video, I go live on Locals as well. Let's go to pick number 25 here, this ESPN mock draft. Bills, Titans, Bucks, Packers. Kyler Gordon, cornerback from Washington. He's coming off the board here. Here's another player that it's hard to wrap my mind around because I saw how bad his pro day or how bad his combine was. Though when I turn on the tape, I see a good player. But I don't think that he's going to go in round one. At pick number 26, that's the Tennessee Titans. You're telling me right now, Treylon Burks to the Titans? This is a really good move here for Tennessee. You got A.J. Brown, Treylon Burks. You just went out and you traded for Robert Woods. You went out and got Austin Hooper as well. You have Derrick Henry. That's the best team. That's the best team. Yes, Ryan Tannehill is up and down. Producer Jeff's like, you still need a QB. Ryan Tannehill showed me when he's got a lot of talent around him, he can get it done. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is one of my favorite picks, and if Jordan Davis slides all the way down to 27 to Tampa, it's fixed, man, because Jordan Davis, to me, has had the most incredible combine that I have ever seen. And if you want to talk about overall how great of an athlete he is, the only person from a height, weight standpoint that has had a better combine than Jordan Davis, his name? Megatron, Calvin Johnson. That's how good Jordan Davis was. At pick number 28, the Green Bay Packers. They're going to address the interior offensive line. They're going to go Zion Johnson, the offensive guard from Boston College, which means the final four picks here in this ESPN mock are the Chiefs via San Francisco, the Chiefs again, the Bengals, and then the Lions. So the Chiefs pick is technically, remember, from the Tyreek Hill move, but Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins pick, was also originally from San Francisco. So that's how that ties in. And with that move, they're going to go out and get Jameson Williams, who I love his ability. I think he's going to be ready to rock and roll week one. That means you got Jameson Williams, Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS, McCole Hardman. A lot of talent there to build around Patrick Mahomes. Then the next pick, Arnold Ebiketie, the defensive end from Penn State. Really good athlete. You know Penn State's going to have good athletes. And the more edge rushers you can add when you're going up against, you can say what you want about Derek Carr, top 12 quarterback, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson. This is a good move for Kansas City. The Bengals, they're going to go with cornerback from Auburn, Roger McCreary. He brings a lot of toughness is a word that I'll use. They need another corner out there. Definitely curious to see if they go out and get somebody like a Stephon Gilmore who's been linked to Cincinnati. If they're like, no, we'd rather go in the draft, McCreary's a pretty good option there. And then at pick number 32, it's Matt Corral, the quarterback from Ole Miss. I love Matt Corral. In fact, he was probably my number one ranked quarterback before the offseason started. I had Corral at 1, Malik Willis at 2. I'm going to go a little bit more recency bias because I've been able to see what Malik's been able to do on the field and he's healthier, which is why I have those two flipped now. But Matt Corral at pick 32 to the Detroit Lions? Yeah, man, I think it makes a lot of sense. So let's go through this mock draft one more time here really quickly. And if you guys made it this far in the show, just know that I appreciate you here at Chat Sports. And if you haven't already, you can go ahead and like the video. We're going to be pumping out a whole bunch of NFL draft content. So please, make sure you click that subscribe button. Make sure you turn on those notifications. That way you never miss a thing. And the NFL draft is going to be here sooner rather than later, and I want you to join us for our live NFL draft coverage. So after going through Mike Tannenbaum's mock draft, let's go back to school here. Let's get into the grade books. I want you to grade that mock. A is you absolutely loved it. B, it was a good mock. C, it was average. D, in the words of Tom Downey, or it was an F. So go ahead, grade the mock draft. Let me know what y'all are thinking. All right, y'all, the next thing that we're going to be talking about here is the Honey Badger, and I'll also give some shout-outs to some of those grades. We got Hector Gaming says B, Captain Rex, B, Shelly, C, oh God, D+, B, again from Elio. Keep those grades coming in. John Santos says C. I need a sip of water. Hang on a second. We got 666 people and 166 likes. Something's got to change. So either head on over to Rumble so we can get rid of that number, or you can go ahead and like the video. The reason why you guys should go over to Rumble is because I got a segment coming up here in about 15 minutes telling y'all where I think Tyrann Mathieu, Bobby Wagner, OBJ, and Stephon Gilmore end up signing. So if you want to watch that, if you want to see my thoughts, then go ahead and give us a follow on Rumble. Where? Rumble.com/NFL Daily. And if you want to head on over right now, you can, because we are not only live here on YouTube, we are also live on Rumble. So a major shout out to our Rumble audience. So I'm looking at our Rumble audience right now, and if you want to shout out here on the show, I'll give a shout out to the people over on Rumble. So shout out to Raider James. I appreciate you watching. If you guys want to get some shout outs, head on over to Rumble at the link that you see below. We're also going to put it in the comment section of the video, rumble.com/NFL Daily. You can comment anything you want. Hello, sup, Rumble. And if you do it, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a shout out. Coming up here right now, we're about to get into a mailbag, which means it's hashtag NFL, or you can go ahead and super chat. When you super chat your questions, they get put up on the show. When you use hashtag NFL, you might have to wait a little bit. HRDLNR says, boomer. You know what? That's all right. Some people might say sooner to that. Use hashtag NFL or super chat. Get those on the show. What up, Chat Sports? Appreciate you tuning in as well. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this mailbag, questions, comments. Get them popping here, because coming up right now, we are going to be getting into this NFL mailbag where I answer all y'all's questions for the next 12 to 15 minutes. It's mailbag time here. Mitchell Renz, Chat Sports. And if you don't see your question up on the show, remember, you can always hit me up on IG at MitchellRenz365, or you can yell at producer Jeff over on Twitter at Jeffrey Cooperstein. Is that close enough? Jeff_Coop27. We'll put that in the links, don't worry. All right, let's go to Nick McGee. Is Deshaun Jackson a Hall of Famer? I'm going to say no. I think Deshaun Jackson has done a lot of good things. He's had longevity, and if you want to put longevity into the conversation, then he probably ends up making the Hall of Fame. I think we're getting to a point where Hall of Fame is getting bogged down a little bit. It's like, is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer? There was never a point where I thought Phillip Rivers was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. However, his numbers, because he's had a long career, put him in that discussion. I'm going to say no. I don't think Deshaun Jackson is a Hall of Famer. Let's go to Paul James. Do you think the Raiders will actually get Gilmore or Tyrann Mathieu? But my gut feeling tells me no. I think the chances of them going to another team are a lot greater than them going to the Raiders. However, if I were to say which one is the more likely scenario, I think the Honey Badger is actually more likely than Stephon Gilmore from people that I've talked to. All right, let's go to Holton. What up, brother? Do you see any teams trying to make moves for Micah Thomas or Calvin Ridley? Michael Thomas, maybe they go ahead and do that, though. If I'm New Orleans, I'm not going to try to move him away. The only way I trade away Michael Thomas is if your guys are going to give me a first-round pick and take on his contract. Calvin Ridley ain't playing this year. Calvin Ridley took off last season to get his head right, then gambled. Now he can't play, and he's suspended for the entire season. Sure, there's going to be teams that take a chance on Ridley, but Ridley's also getting into this area where I'm starting to worry about him because a lot of talent, but sometimes certain players can't get out of their own way, and I'm worried Ridley's going to go down that path. Let's go to All You Can Eat Pete. What type of contract could Lamar Jackson get? I'll tell you what, man. Lamar Jackson, to me, is very hard to wrap my mind around right now because the Ravens, it sounds like they're trying to engage in conversations with him about a long-term deal, and Lamar's kind of like, we'll figure it out. If I was Lamar Jackson's agent, I'd say, you see the deal Deshaun Watson just got? That's the type of deal I got. I don't think Lamar's as good as Deshaun Watson, if I'm being 100% honest with you, and that's crazy to say because Deshaun hasn't played in a long time. But also Lamar's coming off his worst season that he's ever had his entire career. Had some injury issues on top of that. I see him getting a deal very similar or in the range of slightly under what Josh Allen got, which some people are like, oh, he's not as good as Josh Allen. You're 100% right. But when you look at all the other deals that have gone down since then, Matthew Stafford went down. You had the new deal with Aaron Rodgers go down. You had Derek Carr's probably about to get a new deal as well. So I would say it's going to be a little bit more similar to the Dak Prescott / Josh Allen type of deal if Lamar does get one with Baltimore. Speaking of the Ravens, speaking of the AFC, who's the best team in the AFC? Shout out to Captain Rex, shout out to Boomer Raider 75 over on Rumble. Let me know, who's the best team in the AFC? Because there's a lot of good teams out there. I think you can legitimately say almost any team from the AFC West, almost any team from the AFC North, maybe minus the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills just because I don't really think that they've gotten worse this offseason. They still have Josh Allen, I'll say the best quarterback in the National Football League. Let me know, though. A lot of moves in the AFC. Who's the best team? Let me know what you're thinking. Let's go to Super Chat coming in here from Cole. Number 1 free agent the 49ers should sign today. Chase, number 1 free agent the 49ers should sign. He's thinking. Julio Jones. Okay. So the last time Julio was in Kyle Shanahan's offense, he played an X receiver. And I believe that was the year Julio had 136 catches, put up an insane amount of yards. And it was Julio, and then also his name was Pierre Garcon, was another really good X receiver in Kyle Shanahan's offense. It'd be fun. It'd be entertaining. Deebo Samuel, Julio, George Kittle. All right, Brandon Ayuk. We'll see. Let's go to Felipe Durante. Should the Browns, what do you say? Duarte? No, I don't Duarte. Should the Browns draft a receiver if they get Jarvis in free agency? So, the Browns just decided to not bring back Jarvis. I get it was more to do with the contract. What would be really interesting is OBJ said he'd be open to returning to Cleveland to play with Deshaun Watson. I think the Browns not going to bring back Jarvis. And also, if I was Jarvis, I wouldn't want to go back to Cleveland personally. In terms of what they could do, I think going in the draft is the more proper way for Cleveland. And if I was an NFL team, I think you're going to see them start going for a lot of these receivers, because when you look at how much money somebody like Christian Kirk's getting, why would I pay Christian Kirk $18 million a year when I can go out and get arguably a better receiver in the draft? Hector Gaming, Raiders trading Waller. I sure hope not. I've seen the rumors out there, and I know I've talked about a potential Darren Waller trade. Trading Darren Waller doesn't make the Raiders better. And in fact, I don't really think it makes sense, because you want to try to get the most out of your offense. You want to try to get the most out of Derek Carr and Josh McDaniels. They're going to run a 2 tight end scheme. Darren Waller's top 3 tight end in the league. So I don't see it happening. The only scenario where it happens, and something that I've mentioned before, is Darren says, hey, I want a brand new contract. I want to make X amount of dollars. The Raiders say, no, that's too much. And then they say, okay, trade me. The only way I'm moving on from Darren Waller is if you get a first-round pick. But even that, I don't want that to happen, because I'll tell you the last 6 first-round picks for the Raiders. Wouldn't take any of them for Darren Waller. That I can guarantee you. Now, how about this, y'all? We are also live on Rumble, so major shout-out to everyone watching us on Rumble right now. And if you want to see even more exclusive content, go ahead, give us a follow over there at rumble.com/NFL Daily. We're trying to get to 2,000 followers on Rumble NFL Daily channel. So if you like free and uncensored content, I got you covered. We're going to be doing this to grow on that platform. Why? The more we grow on Rumble, the more content and videos that you guys are going to be able to get. So take a second and give us a follow. Rumble.com/NFL Daily. Let's go to Alan Foster. How many catches for Austin Hooper this season with the Titans? I'll tell you what, if you were to tell me who do I think is going to be the best bargain tight end in fantasy for a PPR league, it's Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper just a few years ago was a top 5 PPR tight end on the Atlanta Falcons. Then goes over to Cleveland. For whatever reason, Cleveland didn't use him the right way, and Cleveland's always had a weird thing with tight ends and whatnot. However, that sounds really bad out of context, especially with, not going to get into it. Austin Hooper, though, with the Tennessee Titans, he's going to be an option there, and he's going to be on the field a whole bunch. So I would say catches-wise, let's go 65 catches for Austin Hooper, he might be able to get into the 70 range as well. For more news, analysis, rumors, and you want that stuff 365 days a year, we got you covered here at Chat Sports. If you like shows that remind you of, I don't know, sitting around the bar, talking to your friends and family, that's what this show's designed to do. My entire life, every family reunion I've ever been to, all we ever do is talk sports. All we ever do is do different scenarios, and that's why when you see us asking, hey, go ahead and comment this, hey, go ahead and do that, it's because we want to have that two-way conversation. So shout out to Cujo, Cole, the Pass Master, Oh God, Shelly, Dalma, Captain Rex. I appreciate you guys always tuning in, and if you want to see a shout out on a future show, turn on that notification bell. Let's go to Haven. Who do the Rams get in the draft? I don't have a great answer for you because I think predicting what happens in the first round, that's tough enough. They don't have a first-round pick, and they haven't had a first-round pick since 2016, since they drafted Jared Goff. And they've had the best record in the NFL over that stretch, and I think that's what you saw this offseason. The Rams, they traded away a lot of their picks to get good players, won a Super Bowl. I get it. Draft picks are fun. They could be a mystery box. They could be a boat. But I'd rather just go out and get a boat if I know somebody's out there. Go out and get the good players. So Rams getting in the draft. Sorry, brother. I don't have a good answer for you at this current moment. Let's go to Antonio Jimenez. Which wide receiver do you think the Jets have a great chance of trading for, DK or A.J. Brown? I mean, the one that's more likely, I'll say, is DK Metcalf. Though, if I was DK, I wouldn't want to go to the Jets. If I was A.J. Brown, I wouldn't want to go to the Jets. I think the Seahawks are in better position to win than New York. And the Titans are definitely in better position to win. Now, if the Jets say, hey, DK, we'll pay you more than what the Dolphins paid Tyreek Hill, that's going to change a lot of opinions. I don't see that happening. I see DK, if he got traded, you're going to get $21-22 million. But you also got to remember, I don't see the Jets making that move, man. I'm sorry. Let's go to Carter Fedorov. After the Cowboys' disappointing offseason, do they make any more legitimate moves? Tom, Cowboys, any more legitimate moves? Maybe a guard. Is that legitimate? I'm not sure. But you know what? You still need a guard, right? You gotta keep Dak healthy. So what are y'all thinking about this? Who's going to win the Final Four? When I am live right now, it is Wednesday. All 4 teams are active. However, depending on when this video goes out, we might already have the championship game set. So I want to know, who will win the Final Four? Is it going to be Duke, North Carolina? Is it going to be Villanova? Or is it going to be KU? Who is going to win the Final Four? Let's go to Washington dollar bills. If you were the Steelers and Desmond Ridder was there at 52, would you draft him? A lot of people would probably say yes. I'm not a Desmond Ridder fan. Call me crazy. And I know some people are like, wow, Desmond Ridder at 52, it's good value. I think if the Steelers want to win that division right now, you don't draft another quarterback. And I don't really have a lot of confidence in Mitchell Trubisky. I'm being 100% honest with y'all. But no matter what, you're going to have the worst quarterback in that division. So try to build as much as humanly possible on the defense. Try to build as much humanly possible on the offense. I'm going to say if Pittsburgh says, we think that we can win now, I'm not going to take Ridder at 52. If you're like, well, I don't think we can win right now, then sure, Desmond Ridder at 52 is an okay option. BV50, Mitchell, do you think Jimmy G stays with the 49ers as a backup? I don't. I would be shocked, and I don't think it would make sense. I think the 49ers, Shanahan, I think they've all played this hand pretty badly from top to bottom, but I do not think Jimmy Garoppolo is a member of the 49ers. Do I know where he goes? No. I just don't think he stays with San Francisco. Now, I know a lot of people want more content from me, from the rest of the Chat Sports gang. Well, how about this? If you're a Raiders fan and you're watching this right now, if you want more exclusive videos, I put out 2 extra videos over on Locals at the link that you see below, RaidersReport.locals.com, and I do one live show every single week. If you want to see crazier videos like me eating the hottest chip in the world, that video is available for supporters as well. When I tell you it's hot, it's hot. It's like, I believe a jalapeno is like 2,000 Scoville units. This freaking chip is 2 million Scoville units. So when I tell you it's hot, if you touch it, it burns your hands, and you can read the warning label. If you touch the chip, you're not supposed to touch a baby. I don't know about you. That's pretty hot. If you want to watch me make a fool of myself, that video is available over on Locals at RaidersReport.locals.com. Raquel, will the Saints sign the Honey Badger now that Malcolm Jenkins retired? I actually think the fit is, it makes sense. Like, Malcolm Jenkins is a strong safety, and I don't really think that Tyron at this point of his career can still be a true free safety. Now, he can drop back into coverage. I don't want to say that, but he's somebody who I think you want to have up near the box a little bit more. Can do a few different things from side to side. I do think it makes sense. Yes, I do. So how about this, y'all? Go ahead and chime in. What is the best division in the National Football League? And there's 3 answers to this. I think you can go the NFC West. It has the defending champs. Got the 49ers in it as well. Also, you got, the Cardinals, the Seahawks. NFC West. AFC West, which has the Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos. I'll also say the AFC North. The Browns with Deshaun Watson is interesting. The Ravens, before Lamar went down, they were the number 1 team in the AFC. And then on top of that, that the Bengals, they're going to be legit. Some people might even say, with the Dolphins going out and trading for Tyreek Hill, Miami's a contender with New England, and then Josh Allen and the Bills. Like, a lot of excitement, but I want to know who is the best or which division is the best in the National Football League. And Finney, what do the Seahawks do with D. Eskridge? Can he be our 22 version of Percy Harvin? That's a name that I haven't heard in a while. I love Percy Harvin. I thought it's a real shame that Percy had the migraine issues because he was so entertaining to watch. I mean, he was better version of Cordell Patterson. Personally, D, I liked what I saw out of him. I thought it was a good pick by Seattle. He's an electric player. If you're looking for Percy Harvin, I don't think that you're going to get that. I think he's going to be better than what Tavon Austin was, too. I'm trying to think of all these gadget players that were fun and entertaining guys from top to bottom. What? No. Somebody said Debo. He's not Debo Samuel. Yeah, well, he ain't Debo. He's D. Eskridge. He ain't Debo. There's a big difference there. Let's go to Cody. All right, give me some potential moves next for my Saints. I think the next big move that New Orleans makes is if they make a big move, it's for the Honey Badger. And I think the Honey Badger going back home does make a lot of sense for them. They were able to move around a whole bunch of money, which does make sense. I think the other thing that you could potentially see them doing is finding a left tackle. I don't know if that means going out and trading for one, trying to sign a top left tackle, maybe like a Dwayne Brown or something like that. But the fact that Teron Armstead left, went to Miami, left tackle is still a big-time need. And maybe even running back, maybe Devonta Freeman, maybe somebody like Latavius Murray, just in case Alvin Kamara ends up getting suspended. All right, y'all, we are about to end this live show on YouTube, and I want to say I appreciate every person that came across this live show today. Remember, we go live every single Monday and Wednesday. Tom Downey and I, we're also going to be live tomorrow for Any Given Thursday, which this might surprise you, goes live Any Given Thursday. I know, it's literally in the name. So go ahead, subscribe, turn on those notifications. That way you don't miss a thing. However, this show is not going to end. I've been telling you the entire freaking show. We're going to hop on over to Rumble, and I am going to do a segment around free agency predictions for Tyrann Mathieu, Stephon Gilmore, OBJ, and Bobby Wagner. So, if you want to watch that show, I want the link in the chat right now, Will. Spam it in the chat, and then you guys can go ahead. You can click on that link. That way, people know where to go to get in sync with this video that we're going to go ahead and do over on Rumble. So, click the link down there. I'm going to hop on over to Rumble here in a few seconds, and we are going to get into a exclusive video over there. So, if you want to see it, please go ahead on over to Rumble right now because we're about to get into this NFL free agency